This one I'm having a tough time.
Yeah, some could even call this a borderline shoot match.
Yeah. So it's oh man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. For this video, we have the AEW All-In Predictions. You have your challenger, Dylan O'Brien,
Baby!
against your Burning Hammer Predictions World Heavyweight Champion of the World, Mark Izzo. So we're going to give you our AEW All-In.
He attacks him before the bell rings!
Sorry. Alright, let's kick it off. I was victorious at WWE SummerSlam. We only disagreed on one match, I believe.
No.
And that was the one that obviously determined the outcome. That's the one that got this tiny championship belt over my massive, manly, muscular shoulder. And so we're going to kick off with the buy-in, the 0 hour, if you will. Adam Cole and MJF are challenging for the ROH Tag Team Championships, taking on Aussie Open. Dylan, why don't you kick us off with your prediction?
I'm gonna go with Aussie Open to retain the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. And I figured this will be how we probably get that little bit of oomph in between Cole and MJF. But with that being said, would not be surprised at all if they picked up the win here and walked into the main event as tag champs.
Yeah.
Because that would add a whole lot more of an interesting factor to the match.
Yeah, it would totally add an element of, like, you wouldn't really know what to expect with the main event. I'm going to agree Aussie Open is going to take the victory. Do you think either MJF or Adam Cole are going to turn on each other in this match? I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either. I don't necessarily...
Maybe a couple weeks ago my answer was probably different, but I think right now, with how much everyone loves this story with MJF and Adam Cole, I don't think they're going to have anyone turn. I think they're just going to go out there in the main event, have a fantastic match, and then give that hug afterwards. And I think it's going to be incredible.
I don't think that the turn is coming in this match. I think there's probably going to be a little bit of tension in the match, but I think at the end of the day, they'll just be like, you know what I mean, it's alright, they'll hug it out after the match, they'll be good. But I am interested to see where they go with the main event, but we can get to there later, so, but we're both picking Aussie Open.
That's right. Alright, we've got the quote-unquote real AEW World Championship match. It is your, quote, real champion CM Punk defending his, quote, real AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe. This is the 4th time, I believe, these men have faced off over the years.
Yeah.
And, you know, this one I'm having a tough time deciding who's going to come out on top. Why don't you give us your predictions first?
So, this one is interesting because, well, first of all, we'll go along the lines of, it feels like they're going to take their time leading up to the eventual match that's going to happen between MJF and CM Punk to determine the actual AEW champion. But it feels like, for the time being, they're going to kind of treat this real AEW world title as if it's Collision's world title, as if it's kind of, they've got 2 different world titles. I don't know if you kind of felt the same way.
Yeah, and it's not the worst idea.
It's not the worst idea in the world, and it's like, and it makes sense.
It's like, it would work because, like, I feel like, despite what you may think, or despite what people may say, like, Collision is a separate thing. Like, CM Punk has been kicking people out of Collision. Like, he's been talking about how he doesn't want certain people on the show. He talks about how things are done differently on Collision, so it's like Collision just feels almost like it's its own little company inside of AEW.
So it feels like that's going to keep it separate for a while. I honestly am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to pick Joe. I'm going to pick Joe to beat CM Punk. I'm not super confident about it, but I think it would be a really big moment. Punk has pretty much, aside from the Moxley squash, he's pretty much won every big match he's been in since being in AEW. He's really yet to lose a big match besides that squash match with Mox. And I think this will help establish that title, as we're kind of keeping this as a separate world title. It's not just the CM Punk thing. Somebody else holding it will kind of establish it. And can we put a goddamn world title on Samoa Joe? Please.
Yeah.
It's about damn time. This guy, I mean, come on.
He's your ROH television champion. I completely agree with that. They should put a world title on Samoa Joe. However, I think CM Punk is going to win this match, as much as I'm going to be rooting for Samoa Joe. But I think you were right in saying that if Samoa Joe wins, it's going to establish this title as like another world or main event title that's going to be on Collision. Samoa Joe is also exclusively on Collision along with Ring of Honor. So I think there's a lot of interesting things they could do with this match. I just think that CM Punk I think they're going to do CM Punk versus MJF to combine both of the world titles. That's why I think that CM Punk is going to come out on top here.
Real quick, what did you think of the Golden Vampire thing?
It was funny because I was watching it with my girlfriend, and it was just like Joe came out and I was hype, and then they were just like, and his opponent, the Golden Vampire, and I was just literally went, that's a dumb name. Mm-hmm. And then you saw them in all gold, and then once he started like attacking Joe, and then like it went on a little longer than it should have. I knew something was up, and then obviously he hit the running knee in the corner. It's fine. It was odd.
I just thought it was weird and unnecessary.
I think they definitely could have not done it.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird and unnecessary. They just could have put him against an actual jobber and then just had CM Punk run in.
Or just have Samoa Joe cut a promo and have CM Punk run out from the crowd.
That would have.
It was definitely odd.
It was definitely odd and unnecessary in my opinion. But anyway.
And not a great GTS.
No, but also it's a large human being to do a GTS too.
Yeah, but the thing, it was like the striking of the knee. Which is like, that seems like the easiest part. It doesn't matter how big you are. He got him up. It was just the knee strike was whack.
But I think it's because of the trouble of like lifting him back over. I think he landed more on his feet rather than like, you know what I mean? Because of how big he is. Like, it's when he lifts him over to do the thing, it's like he's more gonna like lean back toward going.
Yeah.
That's more where I got it.
We'll see if
Joe took the bump very well. All things considered, it wasn't the greatest GTS, but it could have looked a lot worse. Because Joe, I thought Joe took it pretty well.
Yeah, as Samoa Joe does.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Le Champion, the Ocho, Chris Jericho, taking on Will Ospreay in a singles match. This match was supposed to happen, I believe they said, in 2021. It never happened, and you know what? If you want to watch my video, click the link in the upper corner where I talked about the major problem with All In. I'm not going to get into it with this video, but I think this match is very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Chris Jericho will fare against someone the caliber of Will Ospreay, who's probably easily a top 5 all-around wrestler in the world. One of the best young wrestlers currently going. So it's going to be interesting to see like how he stacks up against him, how his body holds up, how long he'll be able to go. That being said, I'm going to take Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
I think you got to give him that win over Chris Jericho in his hometown. And
it's pretty much wise on the card. Feels like to give him a big hometown win.
And Chris Jericho's he's someone who's known to put over the younger guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's not going to go out there and be like, I should win.
A lot of people were kind of hating on this match because Jericho obviously can't go the way he used to. But, I mean, it's easily the biggest name that Will Ospreay's ever gone up against.
Yeah.
As far as name value is concerned. Chris Jericho's the biggest name on the card. So that's just a fact. He's just like the most legendary, most popular name on that card as far as just if you ask somebody on the street who Chris Jericho was, there's a better chance that they would know who Jericho was than Kenny Omega. That's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
But so I do think it is a decent opportunity for Ospreay to get a big win in his hometown on an American pay-per-view. I just think it's a big opportunity for Ospreay to be able to get a really big win over a legendary star such as Chris Jericho. And I think Ospreay will be able to kind of carry the match a little bit for him and Jericho. I think Jericho will be able to hold his own against Ospreay. So I think they'll be able to work fine together and do something decent.
I don't think that I don't think Will Ospreay is going to have to hold back as much as people may think. I mean, we just saw, I think it was last year, Chris Jericho just wrestled a death match against Nick Gage.
Yeah.
Like, the guy could still go, and he's had a ton of really good matches with the younger guys in AEW, like Bandito, like Commander, over the past couple of months or year or so. So I think this is definitely going to be a match. I think it could be better than people think. The next match is probably one that's going to be the most rowdy. It's going to be one that's going to be insane live.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gotten this match live, and that's the Stadium Stampede match.
Yeah.
You got the BCC plus 3 people. Some more, their partners may have been announced. We're assuming Bryan Danielson's going to be good to go for this. So then it'll be Danielson and 2 others, plus Best Friends, the Lucha Brothers, and Eddie Kingston. This match, I feel like, is going to be a lot of fun.
OC.
And OC. I included OC in Best Friends.
Oh, gotcha.
Mentally. I don't know if he's technically in Best Friends.
I think like technically not, but whatever.
So this match is going to be a lot of fun. I'm having a tough time trying to decide who is going to come out on top. I think it's going to be a case where it depends on who Blackpool Combat Club's 2 other people are. That being said, I'm going to take Blackpool Combat Club in this match. I just think when you have a team that's like an actual team taking on a group of guys, like, yes, 2 of them are teams, but I just think that you have a group like Blackpool Combat Club, they should not lose a Stadium Stampede match.
I agree. I'm going with Blackpool Combat Club here. Going to be interesting to see who their partners are. I'll give my little prediction here. Who knows if this is going to end up being right? You'll already know the answer by the time you see this video, probably. But I'm going with Danielson, which is the most obvious. Daniel Garcia, I think, will be interesting. Because I think Danielson can like bring him in and bring him back under his wing now that he's out of JAS and stuff like that. And think possibly maybe add Daniel Garcia to Blackpool Combat Club.
Great fit.
Yeah, and then the last person, I'm going with Nigel McGuinness. With Nigel McGuinness coming out of retirement and finally making a return at AEW All In. I mean, in Wembley Stadium. I mean, if there's any time for the man to make a return, it's there. Yeah. And I'm thinking Bryan Danielson calling in a favor from the long time rival and friend and enemy and all of the in between Danielson and McGuinness going back to their ROH days. That was kind of a dream match. People kind of predicted that might happen at the All In card with Danielson versus McGuinness, but I think it would be equally as cool to have Danielson call in the favor from one of his longtime rivals. Yeah,
I mean, that's 2 great things. I think that if you have Garcia in the match, it would add a lot of more interesting elements with his long rivalry with Wheeler Yuta. Mm-hmm. I think those are 2 great options, and I think that would really help the match. And I think if you're going to have Nigel McGuinness come back for a match, I think he can do a Stadium Stampede because he's not going to be sitting there wrestling for 30 minutes. Like, it'll be easier on the body.
Few big spots.
All right, next up we have the 6-man tag team match, which is Bullet Club Gold taking on the Elite, which is Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and Kota Ibushi taking on Jay White Juice Robinson, and
Takeshita.
Konosuke Takeshita. Yes. Who do you think is going to come out on top here?
Part of me really wants to pick the Elite, but I'm going to go with Bullet Club Gold.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bullet Club Gold. Again, I think they're going to extend this little bit of the Don Callis-Kenny rivalry for a while. And I think this might, I think they're probably going to do some more with this. So, yeah, going with Bullet Club Gold.
I'm going to take the Elite just because it feels like this is like a big time match that they're going to win. I don't think that Tony Khan's going to have the Elite, especially with Ibushi, on the biggest wrestling event in history and have them lose. I think it's going to be a situation where Don Callis tries to get involved, but the Elite call in another person to help even the odds. So I'm taking the Elite. Dylan's taking Blackpool Combat Club.
Or Bullet Club Gold.
Bullet Club Gold. We've got the Coffin Tag Team match, which is Sting and Darby Allin taking on Swerve Strickland and A.R. Fox. Now, I just want to point this out because I thought it was awesome. A.R. Fox has his own little training school, couple shows that he puts on. Darby and Sting showed up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which was sick. So I'm pretty excited for this match, and I think that, I don't know, Sting's just been incredible.
Yeah, Sting's been on a hot run, dude, since coming back, man.
It's
love
incredible.
The Joker Sting is so good.
Yeah. He killed it in that segment with Prince Nana, but I think that him and Darby,
so good.
I think him and Darby are gonna come out with a win.
Yeah, I think so too.
One.
Especially being a coffin match,
and especially a tag team coffin match.
Yeah,
we probably have had one, but I can't remember a tag team coffin match.
So I'm guessing, dude, a coffin drop on top of both of them into
Do you think one coffin or two, one big coffin or two coffins?
I think they put both of them in a coffin on top of each other.
Okay.
And Darby does a coffin drop. I think they shut the coffin.
Okay.
Maybe they don't shut it. Either way, Darby does a coffin drop onto the coffin. Either onto both of them inside of it, or they shut it and he does it on top and crashes through.
No, that would be sick. This match is probably going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's got... And you got to give Sting a big win at a show like that. I think, especially he's on his last run. And it feels like... this has to lead to Darby versus Sting in Sting's final match, right?
You gotta think that's where this is all going. I don't know if that's gonna start at All In.
No, I don't think it's going to start, and I don't even necessarily think it's gonna be a heel turn sort of thing. I think it'll be out of respect. I don't think they really want to turn Darby heel.
Yeah. Well, I think they would probably.
They would turn Sting, not Darby, but I don't think at this point. At this point, I think it'd make more sense if it's a similar situation to how Ric Flair told Shawn Michaels I want my last match to be against you.
Yeah.
I think that would be a similar situation.
Yeah.
Sting and Darby, I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, agreed. So we're both taking Sting and Darby Allin in this coffin match. Next up, we have the AEW Women's World Championship Fatal 4-Way match. You have your champion Hikaru Shida taking on Saraya, taking on Toni Storm, and taking on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. This one, I think, is interesting.
Yeah.
Because this can, any four of these women can win
easily,
legitimately. With that being said, I'm taking Saraya.
Same.
I think this is gonna be her time. I think it's gonna be her moment. As much as I hate having short title runs, I just think Shida is just like a transitional champion to give Saraya this moment. I think this match could steal the show.
Yeah,
they've got all of the ingredients to put on a hell of a match.
In my opinion, Saraya has been doing much better work recently.
Yeah.
So, obviously, she definitely isn't as good as she used to be. And that just happens with time, especially taking as much time off as she has. But I definitely think she's shaken off the rust a little bit and gotten a lot better as of recent. I don't know.
Yeah, her and the Outcasts seem like they started to hit their groove.
Yeah, a lot less annoying.
Yeah, so we're both taking Saraya to come out as your new AEW Women's World Champion. You've got your AEW World Tag Team Championship match. It is your champions, FTR, taking on the Young Bucks in the rubber match to see who's the best of a generation. This one I'm having a tough time.
Yeah, some could even call this a borderline shoot match.
Yeah. So it's Oh man.
No disrespect.
No, we love FTR. Who do you think's gonna come out on top here? Because I'm having a tough time deciding.
Yeah, so am I.
This one, it's tough because I feel like FTR hasn't done anything since they became
Yeah,
tag champs.
that's where I'm at.
So I'm just trying to figure out, A, are they just waiting until they beat the Young Bucks to then start something else? Or is it like, are they just, again, transitional champions to get the titles back on the Young Bucks? And you have something where it's like, who's the best tag team of a generation? And you've got like two guys who have been killing on the independent scene for the past decade against two guys who were mostly for AEW or for WWE, and then they transitioned to the independent scene. So I just don't know if like AEW is going to label FTR as like the best of a generation.
Yeah, I actually after you kind of going into it like that, I was leaning Bucks before, but now I'm definitely gonna pick Bucks.
Yeah,
actually.
I completely
I wouldn't
agree.
be surprised if FTR won, but I think it's gonna be the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
I kind of think they're a little bit more deserving of the title. A little bit more deserving of the title.
When you say best of a generation or the best of the decade,
Of the 2010s.
it's
The Bucks.
It's the Bucks. It's the Bucks. So I think the Bucks are gonna win. And just like with the other match, I don't think Tony Khan's gonna have the Young Bucks on card on the biggest AEW show in history and have them lose. So we're both taking the Young Bucks.
Especially that like the Bucks represent tag team wrestling for AEW.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna have their guys. I don't know.
And I would like to see the Bucks win, and then like let's get this AEW tag team division like back in a stride. So we're both taking the Young Bucks to come out on top here. All right. In the main event, you've got your AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Your challenger, Adam Cole, baby, taking on your champion, MJF. Dylan, walk us through this match.
Yeah, so what an incredible main event we have going into AEW All In. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to a lot of people.
Do it.
Real quick, going into this main event. I want to give a shout out to MJF. I want to give a shout out to Adam Cole. And I want to give a shout out to Tony Khan. Because very easily, a few months ago, you know, the AEW World title was very much seemed as if it was kind of an afterthought in the middle of Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite sort of things. There was talks about how the world title had not main evented a pay-per-view in a while. And they easily could have kept that going. They could have rode name value to this main event. But Tony Khan, MJF, and Adam Cole, Tony Khan through booking, MJF and Adam Cole through brilliant work both in the ring, on the mic, backstage, different video packages, everything, all together. They've been so good at building this as a worthy main event. You know what I mean? This is a super exciting. Like, I'm so happy for MJF. I'm so happy for Adam Cole because this isn't only this is why. I'm so happy for MJF. I'm so happy for Adam Cole. Obviously, because these are two guys that a lot of people said that they were never going to do it. Specifically because they don't really fit that WWE type of build and frame. So, the fact that they're able to headline a show with the biggest wrestling crowd in the history of the sport really just proves so many people wrong. You know what I mean? That, one, they were like, all right, you don't think we have the tools to make it in WWE? If we're not going to make it there, we're going to make it on our own. And now, and they've put so much value on their name to now WWE would be happy to have them both. It would be really easy for AEW to just follow name value and stuff to a main event on a card that has Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho and Will Ospreay and CM Punk
and Sting
and Samoa Joe. The main event is MJF versus Adam Cole for the AEW World title, not just because it's for the world title, but because that is the match, that's the story, that's the conclusion that deserves the main event. And I'm really just happy for the both of them. With that being said, Mark, who do you think is going to come out on top here? And do you think we're going to get the end of a beautiful friendship between MJF and Adam Cole?
If you asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said yes, this would have been the end. However, I don't think this is going to be the end. I think an interesting element to this is Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. Like, what role are they going to play in this match? And I think, I don't know. I think AEW could take the easy route. They could take the easy way out. They could have MJF turn on Adam Cole. Then Roderick Strong was right all along. I don't think they're going to do that. And then people are talking about, Adam Cole's going to turn on him. He did the thing when he was hugging his back and did that. I don't think they're going to do that either. Mm-hmm. I think this is a beautiful story that they don't need to have anybody turn on each other in this match. And they both have teased it over the past couple of weeks of turning on the other person. I just don't think they're going to do that. I think that Tony Khan has seen how much everybody loves this. I think he's seen the great work they've been doing together over these past couple of months, which is truly, it's just it's one of those instances where you just have two people and you put them together as a team and it's just magic. It's something that never in a million years did I think that Adam Cole versus MJF would main event the biggest wrestling show in history, but they're doing it as a tag team and as best friends.
Yeah.
So I think it's truly incredible to see
so awesome
Adam Cole from almost shaving his head and becoming a manager in WWE to now main eventing the biggest wrestling show, and you have MJF who about 5 years ago was the very first match on the All In card. He was a young guy who had to convince Cody Rhodes to put him on the card. Now he's main eventing the biggest match in wrestling history as your champion. I don't think anyone's going to turn on each other. They don't have to. I'm hoping no one does, because I just think it would add so much more from an emotional standpoint.
I'd like to continue this story.
Yeah, just let them be best buds. And then you can have Roderick Strong and the Kingdom start to warm up to MJF.
The turn will be that much better if we've learned anything from the Bloodline and the Sami Zayn and the Honorary Uce stuff, is that let it marinate. Because when Sami finally turned, it was that much better. And I think we can have a similar situation here with either Cole or MJF.
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue to go on. That being said, this one's tough to decide. Mm-hmm. Going into it, as we were making this video, I had one person, but I'm going to change it to the other person. And so I'm going to take Adam Cole.
Ooh. Okay.
I think that so my reasoning is that I feel like with the recent injuries that Adam Cole has sustained, he's starting to get older in age. I'm not saying he's old yet, but he's starting to climb over that hill. I just think that they're going to give him the title sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about it months ago that it feels like Adam Cole is going to be the next AEW champion. He's going to be the one to beat MJF, and that was months ago.
Yeah.
And so I think this is the time, and I think this is the place. And so I think Adam Cole is going to win, and I still don't think that MJF is going to turn on him. I mean, we've gotten teased with MJF turning babyface before, and then he never actually sticks to it. Everybody wants it, and this run has shown you that MJF can be an amazing babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And
we
so
could get the Adam Cole heel turn.
Yeah, I think that I don't think they're gonna do that. I just think that it's gonna be an interesting dynamic to have Adam Cole and MJF team up where MJF's been the champion for these past couple of months, and now the roles are gonna reverse. And MJF's gonna have to deal with not being the champion. But also still being alongside with Adam Cole. So who do you think's going to come out on top? And who do you think anyone's going to turn on each other?
I don't think we're going to get a major turn. I think MJF is going to come out on top, though. I think maybe Roddy will accidentally cost Adam Cole the title. So that way it's that way Adam doesn't have like a reason to be like super pissed at MJF.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a reason to like turn on him, yet MJF still comes out on top. And I kind of think that MJF, I think this is probably going to be a little bit of a bone Tony Khan's throwing to MJF to keep in his mind when the bidding war of 2024 comes along.
Yeah.
And I also just think MJF is an AEW homegrown talent at this point, and he is like if honestly the biggest accomplishment in my opinion to come out of AEW thus far is just the MJF. You know what I mean? Just because of how much how big he has become for wrestling. And so I think MJF like represents AEW so much that I think that Tony is probably going to want him to come out on top of this, their biggest show of them all. But I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Adam Cole won. Like, I could easily see them pushing Adam Cole and getting him a big win and wanting him to be the biggest babyface in the company moving forward. You know what I mean? So, who knows?
I think either way, it's going to be a massive pop. Yeah. Whoever comes out on top. So you guys let us know. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Adam Cole or MJF? And do you think one of them is going to turn on the other? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That's going to wrap up the video. If you want to see more wrestling content, definitely subscribe. And check out our latest sketch. It's definitely a good one. With that being said, that's going to wrap up the video. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
This has been the Burning Hammer, baby! Boom!